So let's start off with the back wall up there. We've got the some Mighty Beans case that was shaped like a Death Star, which I just loved. I picked it up on sale for like $2 at Toys R Us. I was like, you know what? Even though I'm not into collecting Mighty Beans, it's a mighty cool Death Star just gonna have hanging up there. And I think it's pretty neat. On the back wall behind it, I've got my sorted Star Wars ships. I've got the Republic gunship ARC 170 and a Millennium Falcon. I've got a couple of vintage collection action figures up there which are still in their cases, which I'm pretty sure they're just doubles. I've got the ARC 170 pilots and the astromech that actually go with that ARC 170 up there. That was a separate case you have to buy. I've got some assorted pilots, and I've got some clone troopers inside the Republic gunship up there. Down below on the next shelf is mostly Rebels, but there are a couple of notable Rebel Imperial pilots. There's a Power of the Force TIE Fighter, which is pretty old. Got it used several years ago, so it was pretty beat up, but it looks great on display. I've got Biggs Darklighter in his Rebel pilot sort of civilian uniform and a Imperial pilot uniform. Down below, I've got a Star Wars figure, Nero, 6-inch there. Got some other Rebel pilots. I got some astromechs in front of there, as well as some Imperial pilots there. I've got the Rebel sort of transport vehicle for the hangar. I got throw a couple of Yodas in there. Got lots of Yodas. I've got George Lucas. I'm not sure if this is all Red Squadron, but it's definitely a couple, except Porkins, the first one that came out a long time ago. Not the most recent one. I've got a Power of the Force line Slave 1, as well as a couple of various Boba Fett's there in the Power of the Force line, Han Solo and Carbonite. Okay, I've got the Dagobah landing X-Wing, Luke X-Wing. I threw a R2-D2 in there, and there's the Luke from that set. I think it's a Saga, if I'm not mistaken. I've got a land speeder up there with Luke and C-3PO. Some astromechs. This one here between the two Yodas is actually a USB flash drive, which I bought because, well, it's R2-D2. Over here we've got a TIE Interceptor from several years ago. I'm not really sure which one. It's definitely not one of the more recent ones, but it's cool. It's got red markings on it. Okay, we've got some other Imperial pilots and action figure who is actually from one of the comic packs. The Power of the Force Luke with Yoda on his back. Got a Jango Fett over here in the corner. I don't know how dark it is, but I've got a Darth Maul on his speeder. Back there I've got the Attack of the Clone Wars Jango Fett Slave 1, which is actually I think one of the best. It has the launching mines and missiles. It's just really cool. Up here I've got just an assortment of boxes and action figures that are still in their cases, and it goes pretty far back. Down here I've got my Batman display. Got the Bat Signal. I've got both versions, the one with the broken glass. Whoops, something just fell. Not great. But and it lights up, which is pretty cool. I've got Batman, I got some Arkham Asylum, clown face, henchman. I've got Joker in clown face and one of his henchmen. I've got um, Robin, forget what his name was in the movie, but that's him in his GCPD uniform. I got Gordon, Liam Neeson, Michael Caine, Two-Face in his regular face, not scarred for life. I've got Catwoman with goggles up and goggles down. I've got a Toy Biz police officer from the first X-Men movie, came with Sabretooth. I just thought it fit there. He's eating a donut. I've got a Bat Pod with Batman. Got a Yoda light, flashlight. I've got the Batmobile in camouflage. Here we got Bane. We've got Heath Ledger as the Joker. Okay, I got two Snake Eyes. I really like this action figure of Snake Eyes, so I'll put him up there. Here we've got some of my Marvel Universe. I'm happy with the center section of it. There's some more stuff over there, but the center section I'm happy with more or less the way they're arranged. So that's cool. I like the figures their pulls next to. I don't have a Power Man, but I got this Warpath body and a Power Man head, so they fit pretty well together. At some point I plan to actually custom paint it and make them look more like Power Man. Got some two Nick Furies, the one from the most recent movie and the one that I grew up with in the comics. Ultimate Captain America and Iron Man there. Some Infinite Line. Hulk there. Back there I've got like red, gray. Those guys. This other side I'm not the most amazed about. They're just some action figures that I don't really have anything good to pose with them. So they're just kind of there. Some G.I. Joe. There's even a Star Wars figure in there or two. Okay. Down below on the next shelf, my pilot shelf, I've got two B-Wings. B-Wing over there, along with some B-Wing pilots and some Jedi Knights in there as well. Assorted astromechs. This is another X-Wing fighter. This is one of my favorites, Power of the Force. Can't really show it in there, but this is the one that has lights and sounds, which is really neat. I don't think I ever shot a review for it, so I'll try to shoot one of those. Some female rebel pilots. More astromechs. Here's another B-Wing. B-Wing pilots in front of it. Down below, I've got my Avengers sort of shelf, which I have cantilevered. I'm using have these old picture frames. I have kids, so they throw balls around. They knock down these picture frames all the time. So the picture frame itself broke, but I kept the glass, and I have it cantilevered with a heavy piece of metal off of the shelf, so that kind of hangs free from there. I just needed more space, and these are my Avengers figures. I've got Ant-Man with Anthony, and you know, it's not perfect the way they're pulls on the shelf. You know, it's my closet, so you know, everything's always in constant motion. Back here I have a red A-Wing with some A-Wing pilots back there. I've got a green A-Wing, more rebel pilots. I've got these little guys, Mighty Pods. I found some for really cheap, so I just kind of grabbed them up. I like them. I got a Snowspeeder in there, more rebel pilots, but these are trying to make them, you know, Snowspeeder pilots since they have the gray off-white color down there. I've got the Expanded Universe, Power of the Force, I think. Kind of speeder there, some more things. I've got a Power of the Force Darth Vader. I've got a tech deck in there. And over there I've got a Magna Guard vehicle, spaceship. I got Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter. Here we got my G.I. Joe collection. I've got a throne room. I use a Flash Gordon throne for Ming the Merciless. I've got a cardboard cutout from some G.I. Joe packaging that I got. I've got Joe back there, Cobra Commander sitting in there with a scepter. Some sort of snakes. I've got some banners, Destro, different versions of Destro, Armored Cobra Commander, Baroness up there. I've got, I think this is the weather, it might be the mass device, I forget what they're called, from G.I. Joe. Yeah, I think it's the mass device. The cubes. Some direct-to-consumer G.I. Joe Club figures in there. And I've got some G.I. Cobra soldiers lined up in front of Cobra Commander there. It works for me. I like it, you know. So over here we got some assorted weapons and fodder, you know, different types of materials there. Here I've got my Ninja display. It's mostly, pretty much all of them are G.I. Joes, Storm Shadows, different Storm Shadows, different Snake Eyes that are fighting. And in the center of it all, I decided to throw in one of my extra, get it to focus, there we go, a Wolverine in there. You know, Wolverine's always ready to tussle with some ninjas. And they're fighting. There's people going down. You know, these are some... the center part over here is something that I actually made. I built that out of some scraps of wood. This thing here and over here is there are two G.I. Joe playsets, which I like. It started off with that. I was like, man, I need to get these things, and for some reason I started collecting Joes with ninjas. I just got inspired to create this sort of ninja battle that I needed to have, and so it kind of worked out from there. There's a clip of people fighting and dying up there, shooting arrows. So, you know, I'm happy with this guy. Okay, oh, there's a that thing back there comes from an Electra Toy Biz base that I got a couple of years ago. I don't know if you can really see if I can focus in there. And then the sword training staff and stuff like that is back there. That comes from a G.I. Joe comic pack. Some iPod headphone case up there. So that's that for that. Let's go down here. We've got the Death Star Escape playset. It's two of them, which I put together to make a longer hallway. You know, it's not all, I have all the pieces to it. I just kind of put together the pieces that I thought were necessary. We've got Darth Vader with some stormtroopers. We've got a interrogation droid, Death Star Trooper there. We've got mouse droids. We've got Princess Leia, which is probably not exactly scene specific, but it's okay. It's the Leia I have, right? Got a Death Star astromech somewhere. Mouse droids. We've got Lady J in there. She's just kind of hanging out. A trooper, a scanning officer. Here we got a couple of Yodas. One's from a Kotobukiya collection statue. We've got some from the Tarkovsky, I forget exactly, Clone Wars figure. We've got Cad Bane on his bike with his little robot friend there, and one of the aliens. We've got some assorted people back there, which was kind of put back there for space. down below I've got a, oh, okay, I see what happened. Gandalf fell. He's right there. Let me pick him up. Staff must have fell somewhere. But that's Gandalf. And some Lord of the Ring bad guys back there. He's standing on a Skylanders case, which I bought. I picked it up for about $4 at a flea market. I was like, I need this. What else better place to put Gandalf on? It looks like a castle. Up here we've got some Star Wars, Star Trek playset thingamajigs from the Bridge Command Center. And we've got sort of a G.I. Joe base in there, which is kind of a mess. Sorry I didn't bother to clean up. But I thought this was kind of cool. Let me put this up. Oops, something's falling. The world. Yeah. This is a supposed to be from a Halo action figure set. The bases, and this is a Cobra Commander from one of these comic sets, which is translucent. And when he sits on there, he glows, which I think is cool. Let me get this out of the way so you can see it better. These are taunting the Joes and their base. This shelf is tough to really see anything in. There's just assorted, playset pieces in there. And the same thing for the bottom. It's an old computer case, in case you haven't figured that out. We've got another vintage collection action figure. In its case, we've got the Star Trek transporter room. Over here, we've got all my Astromechs that aren't up there on the shelf with the rest of my Star Wars spaceships. In the background, it's tough to tell, but I've got a display case, 2 display cases in there, which has my vintage collection action figures outside of their packaging. Let me just show you what the display case is. It's basically one of these. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows in it. This one here, while I'm at it, is my Star Wars Force Unleashed line. Some Mandalorian Warriors from the regular collections and comic packs. Down here, this is mostly comic pack related. We got a couple of young Boba Fett clones. This is young Boba Fett. Got some bounty hunters and some Jedi. Down here is mostly protocol droids. And some Padme Amidala's, Darth Maul. Yeah, mostly protocol droids. Okay, let's get back over here. Over here we've got, this is my Dreadnought sort of diorama. I got them on some Orange County bikes here. I've got actually an Iron Man vehicle, which I thought looked close enough to the Cobra Dreadnought sort of thunder machine to put in there. This is a Dreadnought case, Entertainment Earth exclusive, as well as some old ones, old Dreadnoughts in there. I got a Zartan. Okay, we got the I don't know if you can see in the background there, we've got assorted vintage collection action figures back there. It's tough to tell. I needed more space to put my action figures, so I kind of put these up here. I've got Baroness with 2 different heads. I've got a Ravage USB stick. And we've got the Fantastic Four with the Mole Man from Toy Biz. We've got Guardians of the Galaxy. In here I've got a Aurora from Alpha Flight, but I kind of hoping if they don't come out with a Gamora soon, I'll be painting her to look like Gamora.